Okay, a lot of things happen in this chapter of Shingeki no Kyojin, chapter 70, Attack on Titan, pretty much, and there's a lot of things, and some of these stuff, it just came out of nowhere, especially like the last page and the reveal. So I'm just gonna dive in. I'm gonna talk because I wrote a couple of things down. Basically, these are the things this is the rundown of the chapter. So you find out that Eren has gained the harden ability, like to harden into that diamond rigid structure kind of things, which is what made the walls. And he's managed to gain that ability now. Also, that's Annie's in that ability. Annie's in the hardened. She hardened herself as well just before Eren could finish her off or take her out the spine. So maybe we'll get something to know about Annie in a couple of chapters soon. They also have had a technology advancement with they've had a technological advancement within their and they've made a machine which can execute Titans, and it's like some kind of they have it at the walls, so they're planning to use it all around the walls. So it's going to be like the first line of defense. No more, so it's not like cannons, it's way more better. So the Titans come in, and while they walk through the little gaps, like a massive spear thing kind of just falls down, so it cuts the nape of their neck just like that. So it's much more efficient, and it consumes less resources and less soldiers have to fight. So that's pretty cool. We find out about the Rice family. They made the injection which turns into a Titan, and like the council, you could say, or like the survey corps, they gave it to Levi to look after it, because Levi is the one who's obviously he can defend himself well enough to look after it as well, and he's been given the permission to either hand it over, like inject it into someone, or he's basically got permission to do whatever he wants with it if it's a viable choice. So maybe if he can, maybe if needed to, in a couple of chapters, he might have to inject himself with serum, no, with the what's the word, serum, no, with the something, might have to inject himself with the I'm losing my words, inject himself with the, I don't even know, okay, inject himself with the, heck, oh my gosh, mind blank, it's not, okay, I forget it. He might, okay, if it's like a viable choice, he might have to inject himself with the potion. That's not even the word I was thinking of, but oh well, we'll just use potion. So this can, maybe in a couple of future we might be able to see Levi turning into a Titan, or for some reason I'm thinking Mikasa, that maybe he might inject it into Mikasa. I don't know, but that'd be pretty cool. And then there's a thing about nightmares and dreams, and there's a whole thing about we find out in this chapter that Titans may be humans, or they may be closely related to humans. And because it was like in a couple of chapters when Connie saw his mum looked like a Titan. So I don't know, that must have been scary, freaky for Connie, but still, like, that's crazy. So there's obviously a relation with Titans and humans kind of thing, and maybe there's like they've got a common ancestor kind of thing. And I'll talk about my theories about that near to the end of the review. And there's a thing about nightmares and dreams, and this is what Ymir said. And so did Eren. They said when they were a Titan, especially Ymir said that when she was a Titan and she was roaming around the wall for like 60 years, she felt like she was in a nightmare. So I don't know what she means by that. Maybe it's obviously talking about her mental state. So maybe when she was like enslaved in that body, in that form, she felt as she wasn't in control. Someone else was in control. So yeah, that's pretty much the chapter of Shingeki no Kyojin. I want to dive right into it, because a lot of things happen. This is basically the conclusion of the Civil arc, and I'm hyped for it, because in some chapters of the Civil arc, I didn't understand it, and it was a little bit too long, so I didn't really get it, and I weren't feeling it. So maybe when we get this animated next year, it'll just revitalize the hype again, so I can just consolidate on a lot of stuff that I didn't understand. That's why I didn't review it last month, because I was really confused with that chapter. So in this chapter, we basically see his story and how she's taken a more confrontational approach in like being the queen. She's helping people, so she's not always out in the palace or whatever you say. She's more out in the front line. She's still in the scout corps, and she's still helping. She's helping the people who need help. So she's helping the poor. She's helping the children in the orphanage and kind of stuff. So she's being a good queen, and she's helping out her public view and image of how everyone likes her. And to be fair, the whole nation likes her, because she took down the Titan and then she proclaimed herself as the queen. So obviously she's loved by the nation. And we were just seeing stuff about it was just kind of like concluding a lot of stuff in this chapter, or we're just seeing like the Scout Corps eating dinner and all that kind of stuff. Whereas Levi and Erwin, they were talking about what they plan to go to the basement, and they plan to because they got with all the shining stones that they got from the base. They've been using stuff to help. They've been using these shining stones, like the hardening ability. They've been using it to give it to the public as like luminescent lights. So, and it doesn't even run out or anything. It's just naturally luminous. So by doing this, they also using it as torches kind of thing to create a path to go back to the basement. So we're really getting close to this might be setting up the end game of Shingeki no Kyojin. Well, I don't know if it's actually generally setting up the end game, because there's still a lot of things to be solved. But we're concluding to that aim. We're basically concluding the plot point, you could say, which was addressed, I think, like even on the first episode of the anime, and which was, you must get the key down to the basement, you must open the basement. That was in the first episode. I remember that because freaking Eren had a dream. See, this is what dreams are so it's like a motif in Shingeki no Kyojin. I'm gonna make a discussion on dreams. Literally everything's just flowing back to me like a dream. But yeah, so we're concluding to one of the plot points, the major plot point. You could say the major arc of Shingeki no Kyojin, which is going to get addressed, and that's the basement. So I don't truly, maybe it could be the end of the game. Maybe by getting to the basement, maybe we're coming close to the ending of Shingeki no Kyojin, or maybe after that something else happens, and that's what, with something after the basement, I think something else with the Titans are going to happen. And that's my opinion, but I wouldn't be surprised if it finishes like, if this basement thing, this is the end of Shingeki no Kyojin. I wouldn't be surprised, and that would be pretty cool, because it'll be an awesome run. No fillers, nothing, just a good series, and I'll be happy with that, to be fair. But also to consider, so what else was happening in this chapter? The end of the chapter. Let me actually show up the chapter on my phone. Let me load it. So while this chapter's loading, I wanted to talk about the mysterious Titan, the Ape Titan. We see the Ape Titan in the end of the chapter, and he took out Reina, I think, Rainon, something like that. Basically, Berto and Rainon, the Colossal Titan and the Armor Titan. And I think the Ape Titan took out the Colossal one. Like this 60-meter one you saw in the first episode, he got taken out. He was shattered. He was demolished fully. So that was mad. We always saw him, he was just lying on the ground, and it looked like because the Colossus Titan, he looked like he had hardening on himself. So maybe, because I know that Annie could harden the parts of her body, and so could the Armor Titan. So maybe the Colossal Titan could do this as well. Even the hardened parts of the skin was like cracked. So it was mental. So I was just like, whoa, I didn't really see that coming. The Ape Titan, the one that can talk, this is the first time that we've seen that we could talk, and I'm so intrigued by this Titan, because when I first saw him in chapter 49 and he was talking and that, and he was controlling other Titans, I was so baffled. And then I was so curious. And then didn't Eren control the Titans as well a couple of chapters, well, not a couple of chapters, ages ago. I remember Eren controlling Titans as well. So they're obviously linked. All these people, these Titan Transformers, there's a relation. People that can turn into Titans. And that's pretty much literally my review of Shingeki no Kyojin, but I haven't finished there because I want to talk about my thoughts now. Like my theories about it. Close to the end of this chapter, we see, we're obviously going to see the Ape Titan, because the Ape Titan's, look, he's at Shinigasha. I didn't even pronounce that correctly, so apologies for that, but he was at Shinigashi District, so that's where Erwin, Levi, Eren, that's where everyone are planning to go. So we'll see a showdown between the Ape Titan and the Scout Corps. I'm guessing we'll be seeing the Armor Titan and Colossal Titan there as well. I truly don't know why they fought, to be fair. I don't even know if I had to think about it. Like, I'm guessing that Reiner and Bertolt, the last time you saw them, they were carrying Eren, and they kept talking about like the promised land, or we'll tell you in the afterlife. I can't remember what they said specifically, but they were always talking about a land or somewhere to go to, like their refuge kind of thing. And if they were in Shinigami District, that's where the basement is. Maybe they were planning to go to the basement, and so did the Ape Titan wanted to get to the basement. So I'm guessing loads of people, whatever's in the basement, a lot of parties want to get to that and want to get what's ever in the basement. So maybe Reiner and Bertolt, they wanted to get whatever was in the basement. So the Ape Titan, they had a clash because he wanted to get in it. So there's obviously a collision, a confrontation right there. So most likely, I'm guessing the Ape Titan's probably going to go down to the basement to try and get something. So Eren and them, they're going to meet they're all gonna meet each other like right at that point of the house, right where everything happened in that first episode of the anime. So it's gonna be mad nostalgia. I can't wait for this gets animated next year. It's gonna be unbelievable. So and I wanted to talk about what's his name, the commander, the instructor. Basically, when Eren had his dream, when Eren like got all the memories a couple of chapters back, and he saw like himself killing his dad from his dad's point. I don't know why he got it from his dad's perspective. I really need to think about that. Maybe I'll have to make a discussion video about that as well. I need to make a discussion video just about Shingeki no Kyojin, just in general, just about Attack on Titan, pretty much. That's when he was having his memories, and he saw the instructor. He saw the instructor. The instructor knows something. I'm guessing because even in the first anime, I don't think it was the first episode, it was like the third episode, and this is when Eren was trying to use the Scout Mobility 3D maneuvering kit thing. He couldn't use it because his was 40, but no one knew that, so everyone thought it was crap. But pretty much he managed to stabilize it for a second, even though it was 40 equipment. And then after that, that was like the end of the episode. In a monologue, the instructor said, your son's going to be a strong one or something like that. So the instructor knew his father. This was foreshadowed from the start. So this is obviously big. I truly do not know. Either the instructor knows what's in the basement, because everything's going back to the basement. This is what we need to establish. It's all about the basement. So the instructor knows something either about the basement. He knows something about his father. We truly don't. I think the instructor and the father, maybe they were friends or something, just like how Eren and Armin, the instructor and Eren's father, something like that. That kind of close relationship, like they grew up together and they had dreams or something. Maybe they had theories, because Eren's father is smart as hell. I think he's a doctor or something. Maybe he was also like a scientist or that. Maybe he was the one that helped create like the medicine and that. That's why he gave it to his son. So I truly don't know, but that's what I think, to be fair. So tell me your thoughts in the comments below. I'll make a discussion of my theories in the future. This is Shinigami-san. Subscribe for monthly reviews of Shingeki no Kyojin. I'll see you next month for chapter 71. Shinigami-san, I'll see you. Goodbye.